Hello everyone, it is your friendly internet Pendragon, and if you're from the Flight Rising community, you may have known me as Citrus Heart, that user with the pirate clan led by Elizabeth and Flicker, as well as one of the peeps in the Night Squad. And I am here today with another Doodle vlog, one I have been holding off for the longest time. The reason for that is because the commission I am working on for this particular video, it never looked right. I know I shouldn't really treat my work as precious, but I am so not about continuing with a piece that is not making me happy, videos included. The other reason why I have been holding this off is because I had no idea where to even begin. I am one player and my experiences are not universal. So I took the next logical step and asked the community for their thoughts. I did so via Google survey. While I won't say who said what specifically, I will give all the survey takers a shout out at the end of this video, so stay tuned. So, what I'm going to go over in this video is essentially what kept the player base coming back day in and day out, why the players like FR both as a site and as a community. I'll touch upon the game mechanics, but if you want a more in-depth look into that, I highly suggest you check out Pet Simmer Julie's channel. She has a whole playlist dedicated to Flight Rising. Now let's get started. While pet customizations are a very basic mechanic across most pet sites, I personally think FR is one of the few sites that utilizes it the best. Once you get a good rhythm on the site, it's pretty easy to customize your dragons by yourself. On top of that, the colors of your dragons come from a predetermined set of colors and not an ugly color picker. This makes it easy to plan out your dragons ahead of time before you choose to customize them further. This is especially great if you plan on breeding, so nothing is a big surprise in the long run. Unless the point of your pair is to make surprises. In that case. And with the amount of ways to customize your dragons with plenty of breeds to choose from, and with each flight having its own unique aesthetic, I feel like there's something for every player. You're bound to find your personal dragon aesthetic if you play long enough. It took me almost 2 years of playing to find mine, to be honest. I call it pretty in plague. Finding, breeding, or customizing that perfect dragon and then dressing them up just right can actually be pretty inspiring. So it's not really a mystery to see that so many Flight Rising players are artistically inclined. FR has so many talented players who are writers, illustrators, plush toy designers, graphic artists. There's a lot of them, alright? The site is bursting at the seams with artists both budding and veterans, and quite frankly, it's my favorite part about the community. For me, it's not a surprise that a ton of artists flock to FR. After all, Neon Dragon herself was the main artist behind the site during its infancy. Yep, the same Neon Dragon who made all those cool, awesome How to Draw a Dragon and Fantasy Creatures books. It's safe to say that I found some of my new favorite artists thanks to being a part of Flight Rising. The community has done some amazing things with their dragons, often treating their lairs like a group of original characters in their own stories. Often these stories are influenced by on-site lore. This makes it easier to get invested in other people's dragons because now there's common ground between your lore and their lore. I feel like Flight Rising is a great creative playground, so if that's your thing, I highly suggest you keep up with Flight Rising on their social media so you know when the site is open for new players to join. If being artsy isn't your thing, there's also other ways to enjoy the community. If you're into teamwork, competition, and coordinated efforts, I would highly suggest you try becoming part of a flight dominance team. Or you can be a collector on the site. What kind of collector is honestly up to you. Most people seem to collect dragon pets. You can even be an item flipper or an auctioneer if you love seeing your currency pile grow. I have a few friends who do that. All of these playstyles have their perks that keep the community pretty tight as a whole, so be prepared to see some familiar usernames. I think the biggest perk I can think of about Flight Rising and what is generally agreed upon among the user base is how dang generous players seem to be. Seriously, it seems to just come out of nowhere by players you may or may not have even interacted with. I'm talking, hey, I was going through your lair and I noticed you wrote down that you collected these items. So here's 80 of that item I just had lying around. Or I saw you mentioned you were looking for this accent and I have it, but I don't need it anymore, so I'd much rather give it to someone who'd enjoy it. Or flat out, here's the dragon you said was way too expensive but you really wanted it, so I bought it for you, friend. You don't need to pay me back. Ooh, just so aggressively friendly. And it happens so often, and I feel like it happens a lot when you join the Tumblr side of the community. I know Tumblr generally has a bad rep, but it's where I found the most warmth and support from the Flight Rising community. Because of the site's UI, it's very easy to keep up with other players and start up a friendly conversation, so I actually made a lot of friends there too. And since there are other players who have a blog dedicated to Flight Rising, I say it's one of the best ways to experience the community. Granted, if you follow positive and fun people. If you follow negativity, then you're going to get negativity. Duh. And this is actually where I want to end part 1 of the Flight Rising vlogs. Stick around for part 2 where I will go over the cons, as agreed by these lovely survey takers. I sound creepy. And yeah, I know every online platform has their cons, and none of the ones I'm going to go over are necessarily unique to Flight Rising or its players, but I still think it's fair to mention them. And I'm going to be honest here, these videos actually take more time to make than I care to admit, and a decent amount of research and planning do go into these. Yes, even these vlogs. A term I'm using loosely, to be quite honest. I would really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon, and if you're comfortable with it, consider supporting me there. You can also support me by sharing my videos too and subscribing. Just let me know what you think. I'm open to communication and all that good stuff. Also follow me on my social media to check out my art and happenings. You can also chat with me there or ask me any questions too. And remember to check out Pet Simmer Julie's channel for that pet site goodness, and my sister asked me to promo her channel. She does Let's Plays. You can click here to go to her channel. Yeah. And this is Pendragon signing off, and I had to rewrite the script 3 times. Yay!